Test, test, test. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up. Check, 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 check. Can you hear me? Yo, yo, yo. See, I might have to change up the microphone. Let me know if you guys could hear me or see me. Yo, what up? Yo, Diz, can you hear me? I'm testing out this new microphone. I'm trying to see if it's working or not. I don't see the levels going up and down. That's why. So I don't know. Cool. Hell yeah. Perfect. On my end, there's like these little green dots on there going up and down. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to make sure that I could we good to go. But if you guys could hear me, all good, man. Cartel Prince, what's happening? Let me see. What's up, my brother? What's happening? What's happening? Yes, clean. Appreciate that. What type of stabilizer do you use when embroidering on mesh on the side of truckers? I've never embroidered on the side of a trucker hat before. I know a lot of people use that water soluble stuff. It's like that clear plastic that goes on the top. I know a lot of people have been using that, but I've never embroidered on the side of a mesh hat before. I know people do it. Look up this dude on Instagram. His name's Ken. I Can Do It Studios. IKEN Do It Studios. I think he embroiders on the side of mesh caps. He does a lot of dope content. Alex B. Croft, what's happening? Let me see. Appreciate everybody for jumping on. We ain't been on live probably about like 2-3 weeks or something like that. I've been traveling around. I'm back in California for now, so that's why I'm jumping on. Let me see. Check out Ken. I Can Do It Studios. Thanks, homie. I've learned so much from you. Free game over the years. Hell yeah. Ken also provides really dope content, really dope information, especially when it comes to building brands. If you wanted to get into like cut and sew, manufacturing stuff overseas, he just made his own blanks. He has a Racoma just like me. He has a signature series press just like me. He shows brand building, how he markets his stuff. He's a dope ass dude. Wealth of knowledge, and a good person to look at for like tips and tricks and see what he's doing. Solid dude. Let me see. I embroidered the mesh using tearaway, then hit it real quick with the super lighter. Oh, there you go. So Alex did the side of mesh like on the truckers. He did a regular tearaway stabilizer and then just hit it with a lighter. Seals and foils, what's happening? I got to test the Gildan soft style and a Bella Canvas shirt to compare to the AS Color block shirt. Hands down, no competition. The other two feel so thin compared to the block shirt. That's dope to hear. For me, it comes down to like how the shit feels when it's on. You know what I mean? Like, but that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to compare the t-shirts. You're supposed to see one, get a different one, and then find out what you like. It's dope to hear that the block shirt is dope because I like it. That fit to me is very similar to the 1701, and it sucks because you can't find 1701s no more to compare them. I wish I still had some, so then that way I could kind of compare them side by side. But to me, fit and feel like the old 1701, just with better cotton, if that makes any sense. And all the AS Color stuff come on like really dope cotton. So the AS Color staple t-shirt, I think it is their softer, thinner collar, more fitted shirt. Is a good comparison would be to like Bella Canvas and Next Level have something kind of comparable to that style of shirt. But then it comes down to hand feel and it comes down to washability and stuff. And I think that AS Color shirt, the staple shirt, wins all day long against those. I was able to compare those. I compared the heavy t-shirt from AS Color against some of the other max heavyweight shirts that are on the market, Shaka, Pro Club, stuff like that. And then once again, the cotton always feels better on the AS Color shirt. I'm trying to think what other shirts I compared. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's dope to see that, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Comparing the shirts, figuring out which one works best for you, which one you like, and which one your customers like, and stuff like that. So it's dope that the block shirt is finally getting some recognition around here, and people are starting to use it because such a dope T-shirt for a dope price. Um, I hope more people use it, and then that way we could get like more colors and stuff like that. Because I don't know if this is how AS Color works, but I want to say that like the popularity of the shirt dictates what color. Because like if you look at all their other shirt offerings, the classic to the staple, what's the other one? The like the ones that are like acid washed or stone washed and the faded looking stuff. When you look at those, they have like millions of colors. And then when it comes to the block shirt, since it's lower tiered in price, you don't get that many color options. I mean, you get a lot, but it'd be dope to see like some of the classic color options in the block shirt would be dope. I don't know if that means more people would have to buy into it, so then they start to see the popularity of it. I don't know, but I think it's pretty dope. Let me see. Anybody else use AS Color shirts? That's what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing an AS Color Classic T-shirt right now. I just enjoy wearing this shirt blank, and a lot of my shirts that I print for myself are printed on these shirts because I just enjoy wearing the shirt, like how it fits, how it lands, how it fits on the sleeves. This shirt's been washed a bunch of times and it still holds its color and its shape. The one shirt that I seen, the same dude, I Can Do It Studios, the homie Ken, he did a review on the box shirt from AS Color. I'm excited to try to like get my hands on one of those so I could kind of check it out and see how that thing's working. Because I think it's going to be like just seeing what they have to offer now is something I need to like really pay attention to, because they have so much new stuff coming out where I'm just like, man, I want to try to like try out more stuff, so then that way I'm not so closed-minded when it comes to like what I'm doing. So if I can offer something new, then I will, you know what I mean? Let me see. Omni Maker, what's happening? Get those likes up. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. I really didn't have nothing on the agenda today of things I wanted to talk about or touch on and stuff like that. I think it's because I've been away for a little bit. I'm trying to like think like what I could like recap on and stuff, but I'm drawing a blank. I literally didn't even like charge up my other microphone, so I'm trying out the new the Rode microphone on my computer. I'm not even live streaming on TikTok because I only had one mic today. Very unprepared. Color depth stayed better after watching with AS Color compared to the others. I just wish it didn't shrink as much as it does. Man, that's crazy. Like I didn't see too much shrinkage when I did the block t-shirt. I think it shrunk like, I want to say in the video it was probably like an inch or so, an inch in length, and then maybe an inch on the sleeve or half inch. I got to go back and watch the video, but I don't remember it shrinking as much, but I could be wrong. But I could tell you this shirt, the classic shirt, doesn't shrink damn there at all. Like it just bounces back to the same size. But yeah, when I did the wash test on the block shirt, I want to say it shrunk up an inch, if that. Can't remember. I got to go back and rewatch that inch. But since I pressed vinyl, oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, damn, you pre-wash the shirt before you press the vinyl on it. How does that work? Does the vinyl adhere pretty good, being that it was introduced to moisture, or do you not have any issues with that? Vinyl on to it. I feel like I have to pre-wash. Yeah, I've never pre-washed any shirts before I sold them, so I don't even, you know what I mean. One of the other shirts I wanted to check out from there was they have these ones where they're called like minus shirts. So it's like the regular classic shirt, and then they have the classic minus, which is like 2 inches shorter, I guess. Like, I like my shirts long. I don't like to like lift my hands up and then like you can see my belly. You know what I mean? So I like my shirts a little bit longer, but they do offer these shirts, they call them minus shirts, where it's like the standard classic shirt, but like 2 inches shorter. I don't know how many inches shorter, but it's like a little shorter. So I wanted to try some of those out just to see what those fit like and wash like. So then that way I could let people know if they were looking for a shorter shirt, then they could go with that. You know what I mean? Let me see. I have my first back-to-back shows coming in May, 2 weeks apart. Hell yeah! You know what I've been watching, and I've been getting inspired to get into was laser engravers. I've been watching so many videos on people using lasers, and there's like a million different things that you could engrave on. I just don't know like where to start or which one to get into, or because I see videos of all sorts, right? These big ass laser engravers that are doing like big pieces of wood. Then I see the smaller ones, and then I see like the little bed style ones, and then I see like these taller ones. There's so many different ones out there. So I've been looking at a ton of them out there, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm gonna jump right into it, but I have the Hawaiian Festival coming up in July, and I seen so many dope ass things that I could like engrave on with the laser to sell at this thing, especially when I was out in Hawaii this past week, and I was just like, yo, like they're selling all this stuff, and I'm like, man, I could laser engrave that stuff. So I've been looking at a bunch of different ones, and to me it seems like there's a million things you could do outside of like tumblers and the normal things that are offered at this show that I vend at, where I'm like, yo, I want to start like engraving on stuff, especially like leather goods and notebooks, and just like there's a million different things you could do outside of glassware and tumblers that I wasn't even privy to because I never even looked into that kind of stuff. So now I'm doing a little bit of research and just like checking it out, seeing what's out there, seeing what's going down, seeing what like people's setups look like, because exhaust is a big thing for myself, and I'm like, yo, I don't want my whole shop smelling like burnt wood. So I'm just like, what's manageable for me, and size wise what's manageable for myself, and what I want to get into and what I want to learn, what's Mac compatible. So all of these things are things that like check the boxes for myself, like outside of like looking at white toner printers and looking at the Versaflex Sawgrass printer, like those things, because I want to offer some of that kind of stuff. My brain's just all over the place right now, thinking of like what I want to like get into and do and sell and offer, not even in my store, but just like, I mean, we'll offer the stuff in the store, but I want to offer this stuff when I go out vending, just to switch things up and offer something different. So we'll see. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if you guys see laser engravers on my channel, because I'm trying to learn this shit, or if you start seeing uh like content around figuring out different lasers, or whatever it is, or different things to laser on. I don't know, but I'll tell you this: I was watching it's a few weeks ago. Now it's probably like a month and a half ago. Jordan brand had released some shoes, and they did this collaboration with Undefeated, or they had this event. It was during All Star Weekend. They did this thing where they were engraving or laser etching on people's shoes. Like they're putting people's names, their initials, numbers, stuff like that on the side of the shoe. Let me see if I it was some they did some Jordan threes. I was trying to see if I had some threes because on the panel on the side of the threes, they were like laser etching and they were just throwing the shoe in there. There's like a camera on top that like showed the shoe, and then they just like on the screen, they just like placed the logo that they wanted not stitched on, but etched on. And then it was just like boom, done. Bzzz, and it started burning it up. And then it engraved it. I'm like, yo, what the hell? That shit is dope as hell. So seeing stuff like that, I'm getting hyped up on because I'm like, yo, you could engrave on shoes or you could put anything under this laser and it'll work, man. Like I'm trying to think of like what other things you could do. Like man, I have so many weird ideas on things I want to do, like the side of glasses. I want to do pocket knives. I want to do, like I said, leather goods, card holders, stuff like that. It's like fucking crazy, bro. Let me see. The bigger the lasers give you bigger space to work with and increase production time. Yeah, that part I'm not too concerned with. Like, I'm not doing like big shit. Like, I'm thinking about doing like little small things. Maybe the size of a phone case being the biggest, or maybe like a flask or something, probably being the biggest. Tumblers and stuff like that. There's so many people that sell that at the festivals that I attend to. I don't think I'll be making any of those. Um, Glassware, not so much. I see a lot of people doing the glassware thing, and that seems like a process. People are like painting on shit, and then they're lasering it, and then they're cleaning it up. That seems like a big ordeal. I just kind of want something I could throw in, laser it up, burn it down, and then start selling. So we'll see. I'm still trying to look into like different things and what's out there, what's available, what's cost efficient to like get my money back out of that thing. You know what I mean? But it is something I'm thinking about getting into because I see guys like Heart and Hustle. He got the big ass joint, like the big laser machine in his shop, but he's like engraving on everything, pencils, and he's just doing all kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's dope. I don't have the space for that for one, and then two, it's like I don't know if I have a big need for it. I need something small that I could like test out and like learn on before I jump into the big boy shit. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And I'm mad I didn't look at more laser stuff when I was at Impressions. Like it just wasn't on my radar at the time, but now it is. So I'm like, let me do some research and watch videos. And a lot of the crafter girls that I've met throughout just being a content creator, a lot of them do laser work too. So I've been watching their videos on what they're making, how they're using them and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. I like laser engraving more than embroidery and making t-shirts. Hell yeah, that's dope to hear, man. Never Stop Creations. Very good to hear. I'm like I said, I'm toying with the idea of getting into the laser space. So we'll see what happens. I just have all these dumb ideas on things I want to make to sell. And it's like there's no other way of testing it out without actually having the machine to test the shit out to see if it'll sell. So that's kind of where I'm at is, do I get one of these small ones like that are made by like X Tool that are desktop size, and then just like zip through, laser it up, and then start testing the waters to see if I could sell stuff, and if it does do good, get a bigger one where I could increase production and stuff. But I seen some that have like a little conveyor belt, and it's just like you load the shit on there, and it's just like zip, 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 zip. It's like lasering it up. I seen all kind of stuff so far, so I'm like, my brain is just overloaded with information right now. So I'm just trying to see what's going down. You know what I mean? And then look, like Diz is talking about CO2 and diode and stuff like that. I don't know what any of that means. So I'm guessing you could laser on different things, or those are different lasers, or maybe those are more high powered, or I don't know. By any chance, are you gonna bring back the island hat? Yeah, the island hats are gonna be back. I always bring them back around July because that's when I vend at these Hawaiian festivals. And that's where I sell them mostly. But yeah, those hats will be back. Black, blue, and red. Black hat with white, red hat with white, and blue hat with white. That's usually what I run. So probably like around May or June, I'll start making those. Who's going to the Impressions in Atlantic City next week? I personally won't be there, but I'm pretty sure a ton of you guys will be that are on the East Coast. Mr. Slash, what's happening? Coach Matt, what's happening? Engraving or etching glass is still trash. With the laser, oh yeah, I ain't planning on doing any glassware or nothing like that, man. Especially at the events that I do, there's so many people that sell glassware and stuff like that, especially like UV stickers on glass, like the glass cups with the wooden tops that have the glass straw. There's so many crafters at the events that I vend at that sell that kind of stuff. It's crazy to even try to get into that space. I just don't know what I put on glassware, so that's why for me it'd probably be, other dumb stuff. Like I said, some metals and some leathers and stuff like that. I like lasering on t-shirts. Cool look, but they say you have to use a suede shirt. I've never even seen lasering on t-shirts. I seen it on denim. They did some denim pockets and some denim jackets. I was watching this video of somebody lasering on there, and it just kind of like discolored it a little bit. Almost looks like it yeah, it just looked like if it was like dark denim, then the design was in like lighter denim after it lasered it up. You'll consider big items when you really can see what can be done. Yeah, that at that point it's like then I'll be scaling for production. Right now, I'm just trying to like learn how to like do some of this shit and like I said, get my feet wet in the space before jumping all in and just saying, let me get this big joint and see what I could sell with it. I just got to make sure I can make some money on it. The homie Tone from Island Armor, he also vends at the same event that I vend at. He does tumblers on this big one, like on a big laser thing, and he does like the all the way around the tumbler. Like he has a little thing on a rotisserie, and it's just like lasering it up, and the tumblers are spinning. And it's just lasering the shit down. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's dope as hell. I just don't know if I'm ready for a machine like that. You know what I mean? Engraving 3D glass is profitable up to $200 per item. Damn, what the hell is 3D glass? 3D glass. I'm gonna write that down so I could look up some 3D glass after I get off this live. 3D glass. Is it like, say this is a glass block and then it's like engraved on the inside of the glass block, so the block still looks like a square and then there's like something on the inside? Or do you take a glass block and it's like lasering and chopping up the glass to like carve out something, so this block will now be like a circle, like a basketball or something? I don't exactly know what 3D glass is, but let me see. I love the tattooing, the leather on the shoes. Yeah, lasering on shoes seems dope as hell to me. That seems like up my alley on something I would love to try to do. So, if it means I'm gonna ruin a few pairs of shoes, I'm down. I just want to try the shit out. I've mastered etching on glass with a 10W diode. See, I don't even know what diodes and 10W mean. I don't even know if I'm saying diode right. That might even be the wrong way to pronounce the shit. But yeah, I want to try. I need to really learn laser lingo, and if I'm getting into this space, or my YouTube videos are going to sound stupid as hell if I'm trying to teach people how to use a laser and I'm saying the wrong shit. Let me see. Laser engraving. Wait, laser engraving 911 is a good laser channel. Hell yeah, I'm gonna write that one down too. Taking notes up in here. Y'all put me on, man, on the laser game because I don't know nothing. The most I know about lasers is like the videos I watched of the flat bed ones, and then, like I said, those like tall, skinny ones that you put shoes in. And that's about it. And then like people lasering on different stuff. I seen this dude on TikTok. He had like a little jig made. It was like made out of metal, and he was putting like these little acrylic trees. He had like a jig made for that acrylic tree, and say it was all black, and then he'll like engrave like these dope ass designs in like tattoo looking designs into the tree, and the tree was like an air freshener tree. You guys probably seen him too. Um, yeah, I thought it was dope. Like he was just talking and he was just letting the laser do its thing. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like, yo, that shit is crazy. I'm just worried about like ventilation. Like, what does it smell like? If you're burning up leather, burning wood, burning metal, like what's the fumes like? Do these machines come with some kind of exhaust system? Or is it like you just need to get an air purifier and vent that sucker out the window? I don't know about that part. Laser convention in Vegas. I didn't even know that shit was a thing. Send X to an email to see if they'll send you one to try. They have an influencer pool. Hell yeah. The majority of these companies, um, they they always ask for some shit in return. You know what I mean? And that's the hard part with being a content creator and wanting to get it. So I a lot of times I buy the machines. Like I don't go the influencer route to get the machine for free, because then they try to tie you into something, and sometimes that kind of shit doesn't align with my channel. Like a lot of the stuff on there, like the Heat Press Nation presses I have, I buy them. Like I've been using Heat Press Nation before I started working with them. um so it's stuff like that that's like I would hate to jeopardize the channel just to get something for free and then be like, oh, buy this, you know what I mean? Or try to push it on somebody. I'd rather get it, try it out, see if it's profitable for myself. Like all the like looking into the that Versaflex printer by Sawgrass, the one that it'll print on, or you could print transfers for cotton on, or print transfers to press onto cotton, and you could still use that same printer for sublimation. Seems like a easy thing for myself, because if you could still use it for sublimation and it has inks made for cotton and not just polyester. I seen it with my own eyes when I was at the Heat Press Nation showroom. That spoke to me where I was like, yo, I'd rather like get a printer like that, try it out, see if I could use it for stuff, instead of, having to like be obligated to like say everything nice about the printer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get stuck into something like that where I'm like trying to tell you guys, yo, man, buy this, blah, blah, blah. It's going to make my channel look crazy. And then I would hate for somebody to buy it and be like, yo, this shit don't even work. You know what I mean? It's like, that you see it so many times. People make reviews and content about something because they're obligated to do so because they work with that company, whether it's affiliate marketing or the company gave it to them for free or whatever it is. But then you only see like so many videos about it, and it's just kind of like cookie cutter videos, whereas I'd rather use the machine, show how I'm going to make some money with the machine, to really say like, yo, this is how I'm going to use it to make some money. So I'd rather try to like buy the shit on my own, if that makes any sense. But I'm down to like, if companies just want to shoot me some shit and want some like real honest reviews and aren't going to limit what I say about it, I'm down. Like if X Tools watching, man, what's up? Send me a fucking laser thing and let me burn some stuff up. Different laser types for different materials. I gotcha. I need to be able to like, I guess I need to do some research on which laser type I need on the shit I want to burn. Like if I want to do leather and metal, is that a different laser than like wood and acrylic or glass? Or yeah, I don't even know, man. Etched whiskey glasses sell like crazy on Etsy. Damn, this is dope too, man. I never even looked into that. Hey, you guys who own lasers, what is a good starter laser? I hate buying and then wishing I bought something better. There you go, man. Coach Matt asking the good questions here. Is what's a good starter laser to buy? I used to make Letterman jackets for people that flew down to Little St. James. Making Letterman jackets? Damn. I used to go through this company called JH Designs out here in Los Angeles. They're probably still in Los Angeles. They used to make all my Letterman jackets. They used to use a lot of the pig leather stuff, and they had licenses with a lot of the sports teams and stuff like that, so you could make jackets like that. But whether it was like wool body, leather sleeves, full leather, collars, no collars, elastics were all interchangeable. Some jackets used to be reversible, so they would do nylon on the inside and then wool bodies, and then you could like turn it inside out, and then the nylon side would actually have patches on it too. So I never made them. I used to get them made by them. You can make some money with it easy. I sell pins, coasters, patches, keychains, signage, and that's low hanging fruit. Damn, hell yeah. Dopest, man. I'm glad I brought this shit up in this live, man. Like, I'm very interested in this laser stuff. So don't be surprised if you end up seeing a laser machine on my channel. F2 Ultra engraves wax stamps. Oh, shit. Hell yeah. If you want to add one more revenue stream, stamps cost $2 and sell for 30. Damn. So I'm guessing you're talking about like the rubber part is no, it's not rubber. It's metal, right? For the wax, it's metal. So you got to be able to put like a little metal disc in there or the bottom and then engrave on it. I got to look into that too. Engrave. It's engraves on the inside of glass. Oh, fuck yeah. 3D glass does imagery inside glass blocks. I got to look into that. That shit'll be dope. Just doing fucking 3D shit on the inside. But then do you got to set up your artwork like that? Like, do you got to know how to 3D model to actually be able to get that design file into the laser? Like, I don't know nothing about 3D modeling. And turning something into 3D would be dope. But I guess you got to know somebody that knows how to do that to create the file for you. And then be able to put it into the laser, I'm guessing, and then let it do its thing. For the Lord, what's happening? Appreciate that, man. I have an Omtech Polar 55W. So I'm guessing W means watts. That's my guess. 55 watt, which came with a fuel extractor. For me, fumes are minimal. I will send pics to you. Fuel extractor sounds crazy. 55 watts, and somebody else was talking about they learned how to use their shit on a 10 watt. So I'm just trying to like, shit sounds beefy already. I used to sell 3D laser in the 90s, huge crystal cube with laser dots inside that creates a 3-dimensional image that you can spin the cube. Damn, that's kind of dope. Sounds like 3D glass is going to be the move. If you guys see me like engraving roses and shit inside of glass cubes, do not be surprised. For me, wood is most smelly. I do a lot of acrylic and barely smell anything, while others find acrylic more offensive than wood. Damn. Yeah, I would imagine wood would just smell like burnt wood. You know what I mean? Leatherette patches are killer. Hell yeah. I'm planning on doing some leather. We'll see. Brass. I need to look into like, but then I just need to know like what people want on stamps. Like, what if I did like beer bottles and shit, like 2 beer mugs cheersing? If I did like, I don't know. I got to think about that, but that's dope. Like, if you could basically use the laser to engrave on brass, kind of dope. Like I say, in business, have someone do your laser tumblers. If you sell enough, then buy the laser. Different lasers for wood and metal. Damn. So not one laser works for like everything. Like, you can't just get one laser and be like, I'm doing tumblers and I'm doing, I don't know, gun parts. I don't know what else you could engrave on. The X tool joints you see that are small and tall are usually diodes. Most of my peeps bring those to shows and burn coasters on the spot. Yo, doing laser on the spot seems like the move. Like I said, I watched Undefeated do it with the Jordans, and they were putting people's names on the shoes, and it was just like on the tabletop. And then somebody behind the computer was like, yo, well, you know, they had standard fonts that they were already ready to go, and it was just like, what's your initials? Boom. And it was like, yo, my initials are, you know, BL. And then they were like, all right, cool. And then they fucking lasered BL on the side of the shoes, like right there on the spot. And I'm like, yeah, that's dope. I would love to do something like that. Eclipse P100 respirator mask if worried about fumes. Oh, hell yeah. Talking about like the good respirators. That's what I'm talking about. I use Game to do my Letterman jackets. They build the whole jacket, then I sell it. Yeah, that's how I was doing it with JD, man. I was or JH. I was doing I would say probably this is back when I was really moving these jackets. I was probably only moving maybe 20 to 25 jackets a week, right? And it would take JH when they were here in LA, it would take them about 3 weeks to complete a jacket. So I would, load up my designs and tell them, this is what I want. And it was applique on the back. Sometimes it'd be applique across the front two panels where it matched up right at the snaps. Sometimes it was just a big left chest print and then something on the sleeve and then applique on the back. Um, and then if it was like full leather, like leather, it was like, I guess it was laser cut. Like it was laser cut logos that were stitched onto the back, and then they stitch it behind the lining so you wouldn't see any of the embroidery. Shit was ill, man. And we're moving so many of those things. And then what ended up happening was a lot of people found out about everybody had access to JH and they could go get their own jackets made. And then like business slowed down once people figured out how to do it and where to go and stuff like that. And after that, I was just like, you know what? Time for me to move on. But yeah, that's what I used to use. I used to use JHD for all my Letterman jackets. And for me, the leather ones are cool, but I live in LA, so it's not like it gets that cold where you need full leather. So like the wool jackets used to sell pretty good, or the Letterman style where it was just like leather sleeves, wool bodies. That used to work out pretty good. You find your lane. It's overwhelming because there are so many options to take advantage of. Yeah, man, like just looking online and then watching the crafter girls that I've met, watch them use their lasers and what they're using them for. The one thing I thought was dope was like I don't know if it was Crafting by Myra or it was one of them. They were doing like custom pens for like teachers. So the I don't know, let's say the teacher's name was Miss Smith. They were like custom putting Miss Smith on pens, pencils, stationery with the laser. I'm like, yo, that's dope as hell. On the spot laser would be crazy at events. Hell yeah, it would. MM Customs, what's up, man? You gonna be at the Kalohe Kai concert coming up in Orange County? I don't think it's not till like July or something like that. I just seen that one pop up. I was by a guy at one show selling wood coasters. He had wood and slate blanks and templates people chose from. He fucking killed. That's so dope, man. Down the rabbit hole, Brando goes, and hell yeah, man. That's all I've been watching is like laser stuff. So now, like, my feed on Instagram and TikTok is like people using lasers. That's why I'm like watching the dude do the little trees that look like the car freshener trees. He's like engraving people's faces on those trees, and it looks dope as hell. But the camera is so zoomed in to the laser doing the design, you can't see what machine he has. I watched another laser dude. He was doing gun parts, like he was putting like like filigree and stuff on people on the slides, and it was crazy. And then there's another one that I was watching. It was a dude doing leather belts, but he was putting people's last names on the back of the belt. And I was like, yo, that's dope as hell. And he was like, he had all these dope ass fonts to choose from. And it was plug and play. Like people would be like, do Esperanza or something like that. So then the dude like types it in, shows what it's gonna look like. Then maybe he's selling it on like whatnot. I don't know what he's selling it on. And then bingo, like that guy pays. And now he's like lasering Esperanza on the back of this leather belt. And I'm like, yeah, this shit is easy as way easier than doing t-shirts and shit. You know what I mean? Because the machine's doing everything for you. Just joined in, do pens, tumblers, dog tags, keychains, even leather wallets. There's all kinds of items. Yeah, I was looking at leather wallets, card holders, stuff like that. I thought that was kind of like a easy way to like learn how to do the shit. And then I was gonna do sunglasses. I was gonna do the arms on sunglasses. So I thought that would be kind of cool. Is JH still doing jackets? I have no idea. It's been easily 8 years since I got some jackets done by them. That's why I don't even know if they're in LA anymore. They used to be in downtown LA, and they had full showroom. They had a spot you could go to and custom make jackets and shit like that. They probably are. You just look up JH Designs, you could probably find them. And since you mess with Illustrator, your learning curve is minimal. Hell yeah! So that's all you need is some Illustrator files and get to lasering. I think so, but Revolution also coming. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I'm not 100% sure, but we might be at the Chloe Kai one. I don't think we're gonna go to Revolution. I usually go there with my brother-in-law, but I don't know if we're gonna hit them this year. It's all line art. Then you pick the line or fill. Hell yeah, man! I'm about to be in the laser game. Well, first I got to figure out a laser to get, but for right now I'm thinking of all the dope shit that I want to laser on. So I'm like, man, let's see what happens. Custom everything from now on, man. Be lasering on my damn keys if I can, doing everything. Another cool item is knives. Yeah, that was I was gonna do pocket knives. So I don't know if you guys are into knives. I'm a nerd when it comes to knives because I carry pocket knives all the time. And if you know anything about the Kershaw Leak, which is like a standard pocket knife, like everybody carries that one. It's a very simple one, but one side that doesn't have the belt clip is all flat. So I was like, yo, it'd be dope to, and they make them in every color. So I was figuring I'd just get a bunch of Kershaw Leaks and then just engrave dope stuff on the colored ones and then sell them. So that was my plan. Uh, Yana Mean, what's happening? Look at the keychain I gave you. Yeah, yeah, I got that shit in the office, G. I'm gonna be lasering it up once I get into the laser space. So we'll see. But before I get into the laser space, I gotta figure out a laser to get. And then I just gotta like sit down and learn the shit. You know what I mean? Like anything. I just gotta make sure I get the shit right. I'm gonna be watching a million videos. Like when I buy stuff, this is usually my go-to. When I buy any piece of equipment, if I'm buying if I'm just getting into anything, whatever it is, uh I watch every video I can watch. Not the ones that like the companies put out because those ones are always like sales pitchy to me. I watch like the content creators and shit that have these things and use them. I always look for like the videos of people troubleshooting stuff and that have issues. That's why I was leaning towards Xtool because I know there's a lot of people that use Xtool. So I feel like there's a lot of, I guess, like people already had the issues with them and they know how to remedy them and stuff. So as long as there's that much support out there, it'd be dope. So that's why I wanted to buy a popular one and not a not so popular one. So then that way, if I do run into issues, there's multiple people that own the same laser that I'm gonna have. So I could like go to them and be like, yo, how do you fix this? Or how do I do this? Or I could watch what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's my thought process when it comes to that kind of shit. That's the biggest reason why I like using like the Cameo cutter. Cameo and Cricut is like two of the most popular fucking vinyl cutters out there. There's millions of other ones, right? Graphtex and Roland's and US cutters and GCCs and you name it, they have it, right? Now they're like Caesar has their own, and there's a ton of them. But for me, it's like if I wanted to know how to replace my blade or do something stupid like, you know, like change something out or fix something or tighten the rollers, chances are there's somebody that already owns that cutter that's already made a video about it. So then that way I can learn how to do it. Um, so sometimes buying the popular shit isn't a bad thing. It's kind of a good thing if you're just getting into the space. So then that way you have a shitload of references and a lot of support already out on social media for you to like learn how to do certain things so you could troubleshoot on your own. When you buy these other ones, like I see a lot of people that were buying into these like Chinese DTF printers, which were like just DTF printers that were being drop shipped from China. And they're having all these issues. And then when they go to look up how to remedy these issues on YouTube, like we all do, there's no information out there because not a lot of people own that machine, and then people are just kind of dead in the water. So buying the popular shit sometimes is a big help. That's how I feel. I don't know if that's the best way of doing things. I know a lot of people don't like buying the popular shit just because they don't want to be like everybody else. But for myself, I'd rather be like everybody else in case my shit goes down and then somebody else already made a video on how to fix the shit. So that's my own thought process. So I'm gonna go through and watch all these videos. First thing I wrote down some of this shit like 3D glass. I want to see what that's all about, but I also want to see the difference between like the diode stuff and CO2, what you guys were talking about. So then that way I can make a better educated decision. You know what I mean? Get some leather sheets. Work up dope designs to diversify your portfolio. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? I don't even know what a leather sheath is, but shit, I'll look into it. You know what I mean? Web-based software. Oh man, web-based software, that sucks. I don't know if I want to do that. I was planning on working offline. So the Marrow machine going for the air dual press. I'm excited. Hell yeah. That's to me, I feel like that's a pretty good upgrade, man. The Marrow machine's dope if you're marrowing a bunch of patches and shit like that, but to have that dual press on air, easy call. Easy call, man. That's like a dream machine for a lot of people. Do you think there's any way to make money on Whatnot with new screened or embroidered tees and hoodies? I think the more personality you show on Whatnot, the better chance you have. I've noticed that in order to sell new stuff on there, you kind of have to have a sales pitch for it to sell it. That's what makes people watch. That's what makes people buy. If not, then it's like the old stuff, like the thrifted stuff, vintage stuff, one-off piece stuff, collectible things. Those things sell itself, so you don't need a lot of personality to sell it. This is just from my experience on getting on and just like watching. So like my homie G from Memory Lane used to be part of Crooks and Castles when I mean they're bringing Crooks and Castles back, but G's the one that put me up on Whatnot. So this was probably last year or maybe the year before. Maybe it was last year. He was like, "Yo, you got to come down to the studio so you could jump on my Whatnot show." And I was like, "What the fuck is Whatnot?" And he was like, "Oh, it's like live auction." He was like, "We live stream, we drink, you got when people tip, we drink." Or no, what did he say? He says, "When people tip, we sip." So it's just like a party on his channel, on his Whatnot. It's a party, and they're selling Memory Lane gear, and they're selling maybe like some collectible old Crooks and Castle stuff, or all kind of stuff. He sold a bike on there one time. Like his show's dope. It comes on Fridays, and the plan is to go there because I want to see how it works because I don't know nothing about it. But he's the one that like put me on to like look into it. And what I noticed was like people that sell collectibles, it's kind of good for that kind of stuff, right? Trading cards, toys, memorabilia, stuff like that. It sells itself. But then when it comes to like selling clothes, like G and them are selling their Memory Lane gear. They're selling their clothes that they make. But the show is so energetic where it's like getting people to watch all the time and people are like buying and they're watching and stuff like that. So I feel like in order to sell your products on that, there has to be some sort of hook. Like it has to be full of energy and there has to be a really dope sales pitch to get people involved with watching to buy. You know what I mean? So I haven't figured out a way to use it for myself to sell stuff. I mean, I could go on Whatnot, go live on Whatnot from my store and sell stuff, but I don't know how many people are tuning in to buy shit that I sell in my store. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm gonna be selling laser stuff. I don't know. But I see people do it, and the people that are killing it, they kill it because the the way that they set their show up is made for people to tune in. You know what I mean? They're watching for the entertainment part, and then they're also being exposed to like a lot of the dope stuff that they make, and then people just like, "Yo, man, I want to buy that or support these people or whatever it is." You know what I mean? But shout out to G, man. He's like for real. He's the one that put me up on Whatnot, and I started to see what was going on, and I thought it was dope as hell. Let me see. You give very good advice. Ernest, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching, man. Ready. I saw someone using a laser like a tattoo branding machine. Damn. I don't know about laser in my skin, man. I think I'll pass on that shit. Oh, a knife sheath. Yeah, that would work. I think you're talking about getting some sheets made. MOPA laser, MOPA. Let me write that one down. MOPA. Somebody else, I think Diz said he has a Omni or something like that. Omni laser. I'm taking notes on all this laser stuff, man. That for over a year, and I honestly did 100 patches. I see what you're saying. I'm actually going to be ordering a bunch of patches for the that wine festival I do in July, and I need them marrowed also. So I'm going to order probably like 500 marrowed patches. I've seen a couple of my peeps making crazy bread in minutes. Hell yeah! I do gift baskets, show vintage T-shirts on jackets and hoodies. I got all my stuff on Whatnot below value. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is I've been researching it, but I haven't seen anyone selling new tees, just knockoffs and closeout tees. Can you recommend who to look at on Whatnot? Look up the homie Gee Memory Lane. Have you ever had an order of 500 plus? How would you tackle something like that? Hell yeah, we do that all the time in my shop. Um, this is how I do it. If I'm pressing 500 by myself, I'll do like 100 and take a break. Um, one, nobody wants to stand there and do 500 shirts in one shot. It doesn't sound fun unless you're watching a movie or something, like something to keep you occupied. Um, but usually I'll do 100, I'll take a break. I'll do another 100 and then probably pick up the rest the next day or something like that, or take a break and then do another 100 or something like that. But it's like once you get into that rhythm, doing hundreds easy. Like we do hundreds of shirts all the time in my shop. Me, the guys that work in my shop are always knocking that shit out. Like I just did 100 tote bags for my homie who owns Faka's Island Grill. Um, I did 100 tote bags quick as hell. Like once you just get into that mode of working, it's easy. But 500, we've done 1,000. We just completed before I left to Hawaii. I think we did a 1,400 piece order. But that's how I work. I'll do 100, take a break, have a beer, hang out, answer some emails, watch a YouTube video or something, then get back into things. Boom, get another 100 out. I like to pace myself that way. I don't like to break my back or nothing like that because that's not fun. But if it has to get done, it gets done. I have multiple presses in my shop, so we'll fire them all up and then boom, we'll have 2 or 3 people pressing at the same time. If it's just me by myself, though, like I said, I'll do 100, and I break them down by size, right? So I'll do 100, boom, take a break, get ready to do another 100, boom, do it, take another break. And when I'm taking a break, I'll turn the press off. I'll air out the shop because like there's gonna be fumes and just shit. If you do over 100 shirts, you'll start to notice your workspace looks smoky. Um, so I just usually air it out. I'll usually clean up around because 500 shirts is going to create a lot of lint. So you're going to see a lot of dust particles everywhere flying off these shirts, especially if you're like whipping them out, laying them down, whipping them out, laying them down. That kind of stuff creates a ton of lint, particles, dust, all that stuff. So I'll usually air things out, throw the air purifier on, throw the fan on. Like I said, take a break. But that's usually how I tackle big orders for myself. There's some people that'll sit there and do the 500 in one shot. If you could do it, cool. You know what I mean? Don't break your back. Don't wait till the last minute to do some shit. You know, you wait till the last minute and then you're forced to do it in one shot. Nah, man, just pace it out. Give yourself a lot of production time, especially in case there's mistakes, because mistakes happen all the time. Um, it happens to me. It happens to everybody. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter how many shirts you press, how good you are. Shit happens. So give yourself some production time. Don't over promise to the customer anything crazy, and have fun, man. Just know that that 500 is going to be a fat fucking check at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So that should be motivation for a lot of people. Like, once you finish that 500th shirt, it's payday. You know what I mean? So you could take half up front, so you could go buy the blanks and buy the transfers and everything, and get the thing going. I would order a little more than 500 shirts for spillage. Let's say if you're doing, I don't know, sizes vary. So I'll order a couple in each size, a little bit more in case you mess up. And then if you don't mess up on them, just stock them and then save them for later or use them for something else you wanted to do. But that's how I would probably handle that. You should do a live walkthrough for designing. My design process is boring as shit. I've tried making videos about designing. I have a lot of graphic design videos on my channel. Nobody watches them though, because it's boring. Like, you're watching somebody think and then trying to draw and then try to like figure the shit out on screen on what looks good. It just doesn't it doesn't make for like easy watching. You know what I mean? Well, my process doesn't make for easy watching. There's some people that design on Procreate that I could watch them create on Procreate. But when I try to do it on my own, it just my madness doesn't make for a good video. You know what I mean? But if you ever looked up, just type in the YouTube search bar, Big Brando graphic design or Big Brando design, and you'll see a bunch of videos of my process on how I design. But like I said, nobody really watches them because nobody's interested in that stuff. I do 100 around also, then take a break. That's usually how it goes, man. Usually how it goes. Fumes. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, in our old shop, like when we used to be, this is probably like 5 years ago. No, maybe like 6 years ago. In our other spot, we're doing this big ass order. I think I was doing 600 t-shirts on my table, and then the homie Dave was doing like a 200-piece order on his table, and we're working back to back at that time. And I rented out an old dentist office. Like, I turned an old dentist office into a print shop. So we were in the space where the dentist chairs used to be. So it wasn't big, but there was no ventilation there. Like, it was, I mean, we had AC, but the windows didn't open or anything like that. And then so the door was all the way through the lobby of the shop down this hallway, and we would like put fans for exhaust. So we'd have a fan at the door of where we're pressing shirts, faced out, sucking out all the fumes and blowing it towards the lobby. And then we propped the door open and had another fan blowing out the door to shoot it out that way. And we noticed this, we're pressing and we're doing all these shirts. And then we started looking around. No, I think I went to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. When I came back, the print shop area, the shop where we're pressing at, was just all like, it looks smoky almost. But it wasn't smoke, but it just looked smoky, like it was hazy. So we had to start exhausting that sucker out. You know what I mean? This said mine's a CO2 laser. Technically, I can't engrave metal, but with the spray, I can etch metal like dog tags. Damn, so now I got to look into getting some spray. Thank you for Whatnot. Yeah. I think that Whatnot stuff is a pretty good idea. Like, live auction selling is, I think that's what it's called. I don't know the correct term for it, but I think it's pretty dope. I just haven't figured out a way to use it for myself yet. And I don't know the logistics. Like I said, I need to go jump on G's live stream or his Whatnot show so I can see how it works and stuff. But when I tune in and watch it, shit is dope. You don't need a fan, use a fume extractor. Yeah, now, I mean, this was 6 years ago. Like, now, my shop is well ventilated now. The store and shop is ventilated pretty good. Are you going to get the Sawgrass Versaflex? Man, I've been doing so much research on that thing also. I think I am. I don't know which one I'm going to get though. I think I'm leaning towards the SG 500, the one that does the 8.5 by 11. because I don't foresee myself doing like anything big. So I'm leaning towards that one. Tote bags are like I said, I just did 100 tote bags for the homies restaurant, but tote bags seem like such an easy call, especially here in LA. They ban plastic bags, so everybody uses reusable bags, and those canvas tote bags with that VersaFlex printer, easy call. That print is so feels so good. Um, and then if I wanted to print on like white cotton shirts and stuff like that, so what I plan on using the VersaFlex for is for like the local cafes, restaurants, and stuff like that around town, where I could do aprons. I could do all of these different things because the print washes really well, but it feels amazing. But there's no white ink in there, so you can only print on white cotton, so light colored cotton. I'm thinking heather gray, tan, and white are the main colors of shirts that I'll be pressing on, but mainly those tote bags. Like it's like the natural color tote bag. It's popular around here. Kids are wearing them to shop at the stores, go to the mall. Everybody has these tote bags. So I'm like, yo, I could put like dope designs, especially because the tote bag is only like 15 inches big. So if I had a 8.5 by 11 print, would fit that perfect. It won't be too big. It'll be just right. So that's what I'm thinking. Not 100% sure yet, but that's my guess. Only because I like that you can still sublimate on hard surfaces too if you wanted to. Still wanted to do mugs, if you still wanted to do metal and wood and stuff like that, like sublimate on, or polyester or whatever it is. I don't use polyester t-shirts. That's why it never made sense for me to sublimate on t-shirts. But now that the VersaFlex allows you to print transfers made for cotton, not the whole like you're going to print this on this HTV piece and then you're going to cut it out and then you're going to sublimate onto that piece of vinyl. No, this is like ink straight onto the shirt and then it feels amazing on the shirt. When I seen it at the Heat Press Nation showroom, that was my first time I've ever experienced that or seen it. I was kind of sold, but I was like, man, what would I use it for? And then now that Los Angeles banned all plastic bags, I was like, yo, this is an easy call to start doing tote bags. And tote bags are cheap, like $1, 40, depending on the size. Also depends on the quantity. But you could just get a bunch of tote bags, press those things up with just like funny sayings and cool shit, and do it in multicolors, like multicolored prints on these tote bags, and you could kill, man. Like you could sell the bag for $10 and you'd be winning all day long. If you're buying it for $1 or $1.50, easy call. You know what I mean? Let me see. I'll be waiting for the video on that. Yeah, man, not a problem. Like I said, I just before I buy anything or I jump in, I do a ass load of research. You know what I mean? Like my brain works so fast that I'm always thinking of weird ideas that I have to slow myself down and be like, all right, if I'm gonna buy something or I'm gonna buy into something, I gotta make sure that I can make my money back. I gotta make sure I know how I'm gonna use it. Is it Mac compatible? Everything I use is Mac related. So I just gotta like look at all that stuff. But how to make the money and stuff like that, I understand what I'm gonna do. So it's just like, which machine do I get? Do I get the bigger printer because I'll be able to do 11 by 17? But if I'm not going to be doing a lot of 11 by 17 stuff, it's better to do a smaller printer and use the extra money for like more tote bags and stuff. So like when you come to my store, you'll be able to buy tote bags. I might even just use tote bags because they're only $1 as my retail bags. Who knows? It's at that point, possibility is endless. But that printer really sold me because it's no longer it's made for cotton. That's what's dope about it, is it's made to print on cotton, and that I use nothing but cotton shirts in my shop, so that's why it makes sense for myself. When we did big orders, Plasol transfers, 120 shirts an hour. Yeah, we did 1 hour off. Hell yeah. It's dope that everybody kind of takes a break at an hour or 100 or whatever it is. Like when I was doing, like I do these golf shirts every year for these golf tournaments, and it's usually like 120 shirts. I could do 100 shirts in less than an hour, using Plasol transfers and just banging them out real quick, front and backs. That was like one of my first TikTok videos that did really well, was me showing me pressing. Like I said, all right, here's the clock, here's me starting, 100 shirts later, and it's, you know, little under an hour it took me to do those 100 shirts. So yeah, you do 100, or you work for an hour, take a break, man. Reward yourself. You know what I mean? So it's not like a big sticker. No, hell no. It's actual just ink on the transfer onto the shirt. Um, there's no white underbase because there's no white ink in that printer, and it lays into the shirt so good, man. The Heat Press Nation has a bunch of videos right now of Jared showing the process and showing like what they're making. You can see how vibrant the prints are, but then you can also see how like in the shirt the print is. That's what I like about it. So that's the plan, is get one of those VersaFlex printers so I can start banging out these tote bags. I got all these dope ideas that I want to put on tote bags, especially like for women, vibrant colors and like just dope feminine designs on these tote bags. I think is going to kill pretty good. So that's the plan. Um, I also just saw a couple of companies doing TikTok shops today. Hell yeah, man. There's a tote manufacturer in Garden Grove that got good prices. Hell yeah. Appreciate that, Customs. I might be hitting you up for that. Have you seen a laser rust removal machine? I'm in the middle of starting a laser rust removal business. I think I'm near you. Colton Canyon. Are you in the IE? Hell no way. I'm not in the IE, man. I'm far from it. Shout out to the IE though, man. I'm in Los Angeles. South Bay of Los Angeles, actually, like further west. Um, think about it, Brando, printing in those hazy shops, and we're breathing this stuff in. Yeah, a lot of it is dust particles. It's all bad for you. You know what I mean? That's why ventilation is key, man. Like when we moved to the new shop, I think we've been in where I have the store. We've been there for 4 years, I think. Um, that was like one of the biggest things was just like, all right, ventilation. Like, how are we gonna vent this place out? And you know, it's not everybody thinks about that, but not everybody's doing like high volume. You know what I mean? So you know, some people do 100 shirts once a month. Um, some people do fucking 20 shirts a month, if that. So they're not pressing by like huge volume as to say like we're doing, you know, 2,000, 3,000 pieces a month, where the shit adds up. So it made sense to be like, all right, ventilation is should be something that we should be worried about here. What do you charge 100 shirts? For myself, it's always what the shirt costs, what my labor cost is. Those 100 shirts, like for the clients that I have, I don't even promote that type of a business to print for a lot of people. I have a handful of clients that I've been working with for years, that give me these big orders, 500 pieces, 900 pieces, and this is like a monthly thing that we do. So it's just the cost of the shirt, cost of the transfers, and my labor cost, and that's it. Um, that's the easiest way that I could price things out, is because I don't go based off like a menu, or it's all like what my time costs. I know what it takes me to do 100 shirts. I know how long it takes me. So I break that down by hour. So if it takes me, let's say if I'm using Plastisol transfers, and it takes me, we'll say an hour to do 100 shirts, right? Front and back. I know what that's going to cost me labor wise, what my hourly rate is. So I need to make sure that for that hour, I need to be making this much money, because if I'm not pressing shirts, I know what I could be doing to make that much money. So then that's how I build my pricing up. And then on top of that, it's the shirt cost. And if it's a rush job, and then I'm going to charge a premium on top of that because they want it done faster than what I usually do. All of those things are a factor. You know what I mean? But when it comes to pricing, what the material cost is, what does it cost you to make the shirt, blank t-shirt and transfer, and then what your labor is worth. That's how you figure out your pricing. Appreciate all the like button love, LVC. Most can remove rust. Crazy bro. I grew up in Colton. Hell yeah. I work in the South Bay at the oil refineries. Hell yeah. Carson, Wilmington, Torrance, El Segundo. That's exactly what my shop is in Torrance. My other shops are in Torrance on the other side, on the east side of Torrance, from Gardena. Yeah, I don't know anything about lasers that remove rust though. I don't. I've never looked into that. So yeah, I don't even know, man. I think the only thing I've ever done for rust was like steel wool, like old school shit like that was like WD-40 and steel wool. We used to like remove rust, but that's like on a bicycle. Like, not, I don't know what you're doing if you're doing car parts and shit. Um, that used to be the move though, long time ago. Class of '95, Colton High. Hell yeah. Is it cartridges like the old Sawgrass? I believe it is. But instead of, there's no black ink cartridge. I think it's called an E cartridge. I don't know what's in it, but that's what makes it. So the way they get the black is by mixing the CMYK or the CMY. So it's CMYE, I believe. I don't know what the E stands for, but whatever's in that E cartridge is what makes you able to print or, yeah, apply the transfer to cotton stuff. So they get the black by mixing the cyan, magenta, and yellow. So you still get CMYK, but that last cartridge is the E cartridge. I don't know what it stands for. I don't know what's in it, but that's what makes the ink adhere to the actual T-shirt. So that's why it's pressed into the T-shirt and not just on top of the T-shirt. That makes sense. But I haven't got the printer yet, so I haven't used it yet, so I don't know all the ins and outs. This is just going based off of what I seen watching videos, and then what I seen watching Jared do it at the Heat Press Nation showroom. I got a chance to see it for the first time, and then seen everything. They did it on denim. They did it on tote bags. They did it on fanny packs. They did it on white T-shirts, pink T-shirts, tan. And then the heather gray was the biggest one that I was like, yo, this looks really good on heather gray T-shirts. Print feels good. It doesn't feel like it's on top of the shirt. It feels like it's in the shirt, which is dope to me. So I'm gonna check it out. Been watching your vids, started pressing tees for the first time. A customer wasn't happy with the print. Used Supercolor DTF as usual. Customer thought print looked less like screen print. So does the customer want the print to look like screen print or not screen print? I'm not 100% tracking the comment. So they want it to look like screen print. So how many colors were in the design? If they want it to look like screen print, he wants more like, how many colors are in the design? Is it single color or is it multiple? So if you want something to look like screen print and have an opaque print isn't enough for somebody, what they're going for is texture and not necessarily look. Because an opaque print is an opaque print. But if they're going for screen print texture, so a lot of times like traditional screen printing has like a rough feel to it, whereas a transfer has a flat feel because there's nothing on there to mess with the ink to make it textured. So a lot of times your t-shirts, a screen printed t-shirt feels rough. Like you'll feel a texture on top of it. It won't feel smooth, doesn't feel flat. It's in the shirt or it's on the shirt, but it's just like there's a feel to it. That's probably what they're looking for. The only way to get that feel is from traditional screen printing. Traditional screen printing, there's something called off contact. Off contact is when the screen hovers right over the t-shirt. So if this is the t-shirt on the bottom plate here, this is the screen, it hovers like this, right? Until you push the squeegee through with the ink, and then it'll kiss the t-shirt and then pop up. and there's a little bit of bounce to it. That's the off contact. That bounce lifts the ink because it's getting pushed to the screen and it's getting smushed onto the t-shirt. That off contact lifts the ink just enough to give it a rough texture. That's what makes screen printing feel like screen printing. If they don't want that flat feel, because if they just want, hey, I want this to be opaque on a shirt, white print on a black t-shirt or something, I want this print to be opaque on there, this is what I want, then you have to tell them you're not going to get any type of texture off of this because it's going to be flat. You would have to get it screen printed. You know what I mean? He wants it to look like it meshes into the tee. He didn't like the surface feel. He wanted it to feel more like part of the tee. If you want something to feel like it's in the shirt, it has to be sublimated. That's the only way you're going to get something into the fibers of the t-shirt. Like, to be in the shirt is to do sublimation, but it's not going to be done on 100% cotton. You're going to be doing it on a light colored, like 100% polyester shirt for the ink to be in the fibers of the t-shirt. So I don't have anything polyester here. Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, the only way sublimation works is if it's on 100% polyester. So if you want it to be in the shirt, it has to be sublimated. If it's not, then it's just going to live on top of the shirt, if that makes any sense. So screen printing is on top of the shirt. It's just ink on top of a shirt. There's other stuff. There's another print method. It's called, damn, I can't think of the name of it right now. Not dye migration. I can't think of the damn name of the fucking print method. Super expensive though, where it's almost like they bleach the shirt almost, and then they print on top of it. I can't think of the damn name of it, but that's the other way, is to dye the polyester to be in the shirt. And just wearing 100% polyester t-shirt feels weird. That's why none of my customers like it. But if that's what they want, then that's what they want. You know what I mean? You want a heather gray t-shirt with a lighter gray logo. I don't know if you'll be able to accomplish a lighter gray because there's no white sublimation ink. That's why it has to go onto a light t-shirt. So I don't know if you'd be able to nail down a lighter gray on top of a heather gray shirt through sublimation. I don't think that would work out. Rhode Island and Connecticut banned plastic last year. So tote bags it is. We have a market that does collectible totes. I recommend Liberty Bags for totes out of Texas. They are in Sanmar and SNS. Yeah, we used OSI, OIS. The ones that we just did, those ones came out dope. For Liberty Bags, I just use their drawstring bags. That's my main one that I use from them. DTF and sublimation has come a long way. I see a shift in people's preference. Yeah, like sublimation now is a lot of people seen sublimation, but old sublimation videos weren't talking about like 100% polyester. Silky Socks was one of the ones that was really talking about it, that a lot of people didn't catch on to why that was so important. But yeah, in order for sublimation to work, it has to be on polyester. And that's the thing, is when I would offer sublimation, it was usually on socks. And then when somebody would say, hey, I want this, but I want it to be in the fibers, like I want it to be in the material, like, all right, it's gonna have to be sublimation. Then I show them what a polyester shirt looks like, and they're like, man, what the fuck? This shit feels all silky. I'm like, that's polyester. Like, this is the only way I could get this into the actual fibers of the shirt. And then that's when they're like, nah, man, like, I don't want to do that. Then I'm like, 100% cotton, plastisol ink, water-based inks. That's what's going to be on this shirt, but it's not going to be in there. It'll be on the shirt and it'll live on there forever. But if you want it to be in there, it has to be polyester. How much should I charge if I can get bags for $1, 3 times cost? Yeah, 3 times what you're winning all day long, man. You'll never fail if you can triple your investment. Never, ever, ever, ever. Yep. Yes, that dyes the fabric. That's why it's called dye sublimation. You know what I mean? Do you think Supercolor wearable would have a better finish? Not like what you're asking for. You're asking for something to be in the fabric, and that's ink in the fabric. And like I said, the only way to get that is from sublimation. Um, Supercolor wearable and Supercolor DTF. The two differences are, um, one of them is a complete digital print. The other one is screen printed. Durability is going to be the biggest one. How something stretches, how something washes. Wearable is going to outlast the DTF. DTF still does good. You're going to get like 40 something, 50 something washes off that thing. Whereas wearable, you'll get like 75 washes off that thing. You know what I mean? So it just comes down to that. But for what you're looking for, you're not going to be able to accomplish that with any type of transfer outside of a sublimation transfer. And sublimation, like I said, is on polyester. You know what I mean? So you would have to get polyester blanks in order to sublimate on them and dye it. You're basically dyeing the fabric, whatever print you're putting on there. So that's why that sucker's in there. Like, you could stretch it all day long. You could fucking wash it. You could do whatever you want. That print's going to be in the fabric because it's dyeing it. So the reason you can't dye cotton is because cotton's not a synthetic fabric, whereas polyester is synthetic, and you can dye that with using sublimation printer, sublimation transfers, or inks and stuff like that. Um, Whereas this new VersaFlex printer that we're talking about creates a sublimation like print that's made for cotton, but light color cotton, heather gray, white, tan, pink, stuff like that. You would be able to press that onto the t-shirt, cotton t-shirt, using VersaFlex. But that requires you buying the Sawgrass printer with the VersaFlex inks and getting it done that way. There's also Nissan. Oh yeah, I see them. Man, we were doing those clear bags for like concerts, the clear backpacks and purses and stuff, and we're printing on those things and making a killing. And those are from Nissan. We were getting those. I seen them at the Impressions Expo a few years ago, and then we made it easier, and we just started putting UV DTF stickers on those bags. Easy call. Selling tons of them. Can you print on a polyester performance polyester work shirt? Performance polyester. Yeah, you can. Supercolor makes something called, they make transfers that are called, damn, I can't even think of the name. I'm drawing a blank. It's made for like specialty fabrics like that, and they have a sub blocker built into the ink, so there's no dye migration that ends up happening onto the that print. So yeah, you could print on those things all day long. Let me see. Manoli Cannoli, much love from Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's happening, New Mexico? I've been watching a lot of your videos lately. I'm very new to the t-shirt business, and I appreciate you so much for sharing your knowledge. Manoli Cannoli, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to the homie Johnny James too, from Albuquerque, New Mexico too. That dude makes shirts, sells merch, does dope ass shit. And he's probably, like, outside of Breaking Bad, he's probably the most famous person I know from New Mexico. So shout out to him. But yeah, appreciate you for watching. And this channel, if you're new and if you consume some of this content and you're kind of new, every Tuesday I live stream here. I also do it on TikTok, but today I'm not doing it on TikTok. I live stream on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I don't know if there's a time difference between me here in Los Angeles and you in New Mexico, but Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock is when I live stream. And these live streams are for you guys to ask whatever questions you got about t-shirts. You want to learn something, if I could try to help you out, I will. But appreciate you for tuning in and finding my channel and shit like that, man. So thank you. LHV clothing, what's happening? People are trying to bleach cotton, then subbing it. Yeah, man, it's hard. When you're working with cotton, usually all that's happening is you're just staining it with sublimation. You're not even getting close to dyeing that fabric. So based off that, I saw in the video of the VersaFlex, you think the 30 washes on cotton, is that good? Hell yeah, 30 washes is really good on a t-shirt. You got to remember, after like 15 washes, shirts, depending on the blank t-shirt that you're using, starts to fade already. It's not going to look brand new. It's not going to ever look the way you bought it, but it's going to already fade. You know what I mean? So, and that's after like 15, and that's just the lifespan of a t-shirt, man. If you really think about it, look in your drawer at the t-shirts that you have that you've washed over 15, 20 times, and compare it to a brand new t-shirt, and look at the color difference of just the t-shirt, not even the print, just the t-shirt. You'll start to see the color difference because that's just how it works. You know what I mean? So that to me is always like, people like, yo, you could do, you know, 75 washes with super color. Yeah, you could get 75, but the shirt's almost unwearable like the actual t-shirt. You know what I mean? It becomes a gym shirt or a shirt that you sleep in or something like that. You know what I mean? Plain old Joe. That's a dope name, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Plain old Joe. Thank you for that. But yeah, 30 washes, easy call. No problem whatsoever. How many colors can be done with super color wearable? As many colors as you can think of. On their gang sheet, you could load up whatever you wanted, however many colors you want, and they'll print it out for you. There's no limitation on colors when it comes to anything. DTF, super color wearable, as many as you want. Discharge printing, that's what that shit's called. Hell yeah, Alex, that was killing me in my brain. Discharge printing is when the screen print feels like it's into the t-shirt, but that process is stupid expensive. It's dope, very expensive though. Discharge printing, that's what that shit is. Appreciate that, Alex. Hell yeah. Yeah, so like when I figure out what printer uh I go with, because I'm even looking at like white toner printers, right? And people are like, man, white toner this, white toner that. To me, for the home printer, like for somebody that's like not doing huge volumes, if you're running an Etsy store, if you're doing low volume, low quantity runs, white toner is the fucking move. Instead of buying a desktop size DTF printer that requires all this maintenance and babying, and those white toner printers, and I've dug heavy into these white toner printers because I was considering getting one. One, I want to do temporary tattoos, but when I was looking at it for t-shirts, dog, if I had a white toner printer, I'd test out every single t-shirt design. I wouldn't even use my vinyl cutter no more. I wouldn't have a need to, because I just do everything on the white toner, test out designs, and then the designs that do good on my testing, I just order transfers. And then, you know, I could do custom one-off stuff. I could do my temporary tattoos. I'd be able to do low run custom stuff, easy call, quick, fast, out the door, and make an ass load of money. If I was doing like when I used to do custom t-shirts on with vinyl, man, I was charging like $35, $40, especially if something was like, hey, I'm going to like the Dodger game tomorrow. Can you make me a shirt for the Dodger game or something? And they need it right away. And I'll cut that sucker out on vinyl, and easy call, like $40. Boom, let's go. If I had a white toner printer, I'd be taking in that type of business all day long. Like, send me your design, print the shit out, print it out, especially on the white toner printer. Bingo, throw it on a shirt, because those shirts aren't like retail shirts. Those shirts are like custom shirts, right? Same thing with like Etsy. I would throw up an Etsy store and do custom shirts on Etsy, run it through the white toner, easy call, man. Like, I'm surprised, out of all the content creators that I've seen with white toner printers, nobody has ever not cracked the code, but nobody's ever like showed how you can use it to make money, right? People always just like talked about it. And when it was comparable to like when people were pushing the DTG printers and like, yeah, get into DTG for Etsy and for one-offs and blah blah blah, I would have went white toner all day long. Like you get so much out of the inks, like the ink cartridges for white toner, since it's toner and not ink, they last for thousands of impressions. And I'd be fucking banging those things out and like pressing down custom shit. Like if somebody came to me and said, I need a dozen shirts, instead of ordering a dozen transfers or getting DTF prints made, and I had a white toner printer, you could print 12 prints on that thing fast. Boom. Then you just A and B page that sucker, peel it up, slap it on the shirts. That process, I'm so mad that nobody in the t-shirt content creator space has ever really talked about it on how to actually use that thing to make money. Like that to me, that printer is such a gold mine when it comes to like, should I buy a DTF printer, like a at-home DTF printer or white toner? White toner should be fucking way up here because there's no maintenance involved. And DTF, there's a lot of maintenance involved, controlling the humidity and bleeding the lines and cleaning the heads. And if your print head goes down, then your whole operation's down. And then it's like, how do you cure the ink with the adhesive on the back without having a full setup of the thing dusting the adhesive on the back and then going through a little dryer? So that tabletop printer now becomes this big ass operation, whereas white toner is the size of a fucking printer that you already have in your house. That blows my mind, man. Let me see. Also, water-based screen printing will feel a part of the fabric, but still a little more expensive, different setup for the shop. Yeah, and for whatever reason, not a lot of print shops use water-based inks, mainly use Plastisol. I don't know what I learned on Plastisol ink, and I've when I screen printed, I only use Plastisol ink. Um, Outside of like using like the speedball water-based inks, like the little small ones you buy from the art store to do like other shit, posters and shit like that. But um I've never really used water-based inks. What's the hand on white toner? The hand is, to me, it feels like DTF. Like the hand on a white toner, like I think it's Forever Paper. I can't remember. Like I'm getting a bunch of shit because I'm looking at so many different things right now. But at Impressions, I want to say it was Forever Paper or something like that. That hand feel felt exactly like DTF. And especially if you do the color knockouts or halftone, everything you do to set up DTF prints to make DTF feel good, you do the same thing on white toner. So if you wanted a halftone stuff, so then that way you don't have solid blacks on there. If you wanted to do color knockouts, whites, blacks, reds, whatever it is, to make the print breathe a little bit better, that to me is, I'm so mad that at the t-shirt industry, content creators that had the white toners that never told the people about this and started pushing people to buy DTF at home DTF printers. That's the biggest driving force for me to get a white toner printer now, to be like, yo, fuck the at home DTF. Like this white toner shit's where it's at, especially if you have a Etsy store. Like if you're doing custom shit on Etsy, easy call. You could print the transfers from home. Like for the people that really want to print transfers from home, I think white toner is the best option outside of DTF. Like if you're doing stuff for like big volume and retail and stuff like that, then yeah, order DTF prints. If you're doing something of a sizable amount, you're doing a dozen, 2 dozen t-shirts, white toner that shit and make a ass load of money, man. Let me see. Speedball still around. Blast from the past. Yeah, you remember that? Speedball ink was the only the only water-based inks I've ever tried out. And that was from the art stores and shit. Forever makes really good white toner printer paper. There you go. See, so it's, to me, that's what I've always looked at. I've the videos that I used to see about white toner were just setup videos, the process videos, but nobody was like, "Yo, like let's use this shit to make money this way," or "This is where this is would be a good investment for somebody to get into." because I don't think a lot of people had that part figured out. They were going in their heads, they were looking for bulk printing, but not everybody needs bulk printing. There's so many people out there that are only doing one, two t-shirts here or there. Like I said, if I had one outside of doing temporary tattoos, I would be doing it like I test every single t-shirt design that I have in my brain. I put it on a computer, create the design, white toner, printer that shit, and test it out the very same day or next day. And I'd be knocking stuff out left and right. I'm limited to when I do it with my vinyl cutter because I can only do single, maybe sometimes double color stuff when I want to test out designs. But if I wanted to test out multicolor stuff or now just do single color stuff, if I just want to do a white print, I just white toner that shit, press it on the shirt, try it out, and see if it works. And then if the feedback is good, then I get transfers made. And then I just keep using the white toner to test stuff out, do one-off prints, do custom shit for friends and family like I already do. It's faster, easier, way cheaper than owning a DTG printer or a DTF printer. And I had this conversation with the owner of Heat Press Nation when I was at their showroom, and I was telling them about that. I was like, damn, how come nobody really talks about white toner? They sell white toner printers at Heat Press Nation. And I was just like, yo, how come nobody really talks about it? And it's just the boom of DTF basically like overshadowed white toner. When white toner was coming up, DTF came and just kind of smashed it. And now everybody's blinded by DTF, and DTF is cool. But if you wanted to print from home, there's other options outside of buying these little desktop DTF printers. Or if you're buying a big commercial size one, that's a big ass investment. So, it's kind of hard to do. A-Dub got the Racoma one, but I don't see him use it a lot. The white toner printer? White toner is great. My friend has one, and I order transfers all the time from him. Hell yeah. I'm saying this makes me want to get a white toner printer so I can make content for the people that are looking to buy a printer for their home so they have options. So, fuck, if I'm buying fucking lasers and I'm buying the Sawgrass VersaFlex and I'm getting white toner and I'm getting into all this shit, there's going to be a lot of different content coming to the channel. But it makes me want to get this type of stuff to create this type of content for the people, because there's things that people that had these printers never really talked about. And I'm like, man, there's so much opportunity for this stuff where I'm like, man, you can make so much money being a home printer with something like this, with whether it's the VersaFlex or the white toner stuff. And I don't even know much about them. Like, I know there's Uninet and then there's OKI. Those are like the two companies I've always seen. So, and then somebody just said Racoma has one also. Last year, Racoma was giving a printer with an embroidery. Damn, you could get a white toner printer and an embroidery machine at the same time. I didn't even know about that. But yeah, so now it's like, let me try to get into this space to show people there's other options out there outside of buying or spending money on a DTF printer or going into debt with a DTF printer. And then the printer goes down and then you can no longer make money. There's other options out there, man. Other options. It's crazy. White toner or embroidery for starters, I would do white toner. I would go white toner, make some money, save the money, buy an embroidery machine, and then you'll have both. And both will last you fucking forever. I'll tell you that. Because you can always outsource your embroidery right now. Like if you were looking into like get into the embroidery space and make some money, you can outsource your embroidery right now, middleman it, and take a little off the top for yourself. If you're embroidering for other people, if you're embroidering for yourself, then you could outsource that and sell it for retail. When it comes to white toner, the freedom you have with white toner, or what I see, because I don't have one yet, so I can't say like this is what you're going to be doing, but how I would use it is, one, to get into the custom shirt making business. Right then and there, you can start making money right away. Anything that you can put into the computer, you could print on white toner, press that on the t-shirts. There's no limitation on the color of t-shirts or type of t-shirts you can use. There's white toner in this thing, so you can print on blacks and dark blues and all the dark colors you want to. And then from there, it's just consumable costs. But those ink cartridges last fucking like thousands of impressions. Whereas DTF, you're constantly going to be buying those consumables. The paper, I think, is the only thing that would cost. Like, I think paper is probably like $1 to a sheet or something like that. But then when you compare that to buying $10,000, $15,000 DTF printer, where you still have to buy film, adhesive powder, inks, print heads, all of that shit, it kind of offset everything, right? And then if you're selling your t-shirts, custom shirts from $20 to $40, I don't know what you're going to price it at. That's an easy call. A $2 print, like the paper, on a $3 t-shirt, we'll say $3, $3.50 for if you're using an AS Color block t-shirt, right? I think it wholesales at like $3.50, $3.60. A $2 piece of paper that you print out, you're into this shirt for like $5.50, $5.60, let's just say $6. You sell that shirt for $18 and you tripled your investment already, but you can always sell it for $25 because it's a custom shirt, $30 because it's a custom shirt. Easy fucking call, man. Like, that money right there is mind blowing to me, how you can make so much money with this. And all it takes is you setting up an Etsy store, if you wanted to do it on Etsy, and offer these custom shirts and offer things that could be customized, and you can easily do it from the comfort of your own home. Man, like, there's so many people. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that operate this way but don't share their operation, and show what they're doing and how they're making money and all that good shit. But for myself, I feel like, you know, that's something I would want to show. And I really just want to get a white toner printer to do temporary tattoos, because I have a lot of tattoo artist friends, and it'd be dope for them to create their own flash, but use it as a temporary tattoo for kids. You know what I mean? So, like, when, say, like, you go to a tattoo artist and you get tattooed from them, you can buy their temporary tattoos for your kid. So now you could sleeve your kid down with real tattoo artists artwork on your kid. You know what I mean? That's what I want. It's the only reason I want to get a white toner printer. Really, that's what I'm going to use it for. But when you're talking about t-shirts and shit like that, I'm thinking about doing t-shirts for myself, because this is how I test out all my designs. Is I have an idea, I cut it out on vinyl, and I press it on a t-shirt for myself. I only make one. Press it on the shirt, left chest print, back print, whatever it is, and I wear it to where I feel that customer base would be, right? If I'm making a t-shirt for Disneyland, like the churro stuff, if I have a churro idea, I'm going to cut it out, put it on a t-shirt, wear it to Disneyland, where people would buy this t-shirt and then see people react to the shirt. Yo, that's a dope shirt. Hey, that's cool. Hey, where'd you get that shirt from? That's my customer base. That's the data I need to be like, this design would sell. Then from there, I just order transfers, because I know there's an interest in this design. So I get transfers made and I start selling them. That's my process for everything. If I had a white toner printer, now I don't have to cut shit out on vinyl. I just print it out on the white toner, slam it on the shirt, wear it around, and now colors are endless. I could do multicolor stuff, and then I could order super color wearable or DTF transfers or whatever it is to sell for retail. So outside of temporary tattoos, I want to actually get one so I could like test designs out and then make a little extra money doing custom work. I turn down so much custom work because I don't have access to DTG printers no more. Like, when I had access to DTG printers, I would do all the custom jobs all day long. Since I no longer have access to that, if I had a white toner, man, I could print whatever you wanted. You're going on a cruise, I'll make you a cruise t-shirt. Or, it's your mom's 40th birthday, I'll knock out a 40th birthday t-shirt. There's no weeding involved. Like, I'm not going to sit there with a little pick tool trying to like weed shit up. I just print it out, put it on that A and B page, peel it up and slam it down. Bingo. I'm moving. You know what I mean? Like, my brain is this is how my brain works. Is if I have ideas and I build on ideas and build on ideas, it just constantly moves that way for myself. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, that's how the shit works. Is printer free with purchase of embroidery machine? Damn, that's crazy. Speedball's still available, but it's sold at Michael's. Oh yeah, I used to get it from the art store. There used to be an art store here called Walsers. That's where I used to buy the Speedball stuff from. I bought a non-white toner printer, cheap, but I've never used it. Damn. The Racoma Luminaris says it's white toner and sublimation starting at 2K right now. There you go. Brandon Cloud, Big Brando. For someone just starting a t-shirt brand, do you think it's better to make shirts yourself with a heat press or work with a manufacturer like Alibaba? Love from Chicago. Do the shit on your own. Don't work with a manufacturer until you need to scale. Because the reason I say that is because let's say you have a dope ass idea, right? You're like, yo, I got this badass idea. This is my first shirt I'm going to release. You work with the manufacturer. You have to buy in bulk when you're working with a manufacturer. There's something called MOQs. That's like how many shirts you're allowed to buy. So most MOQs working with a manufacturer are going to be like in the 200, 300, 500 range, right? So let's say you get 200 shirts landed to your porch. Now you have to sell those 200 t-shirts. And if you put them up, nobody buys them, you're out those $200. But if you're making the shit yourself with a heat press and transfers, you can control your own inventory. So all you have to do is buy some blank t-shirts, buy the transfers you want, press one up, take some pictures in it, wear it around, see if people like it or not, and then you put it up for sale. And as orders come in, that's when you pull the blank t-shirt, you pull the transfer, you press it up, and you ship it out. You don't have to pre-press everything because if you're not selling nothing, you're not going to waste those t-shirts. So like, let's say you buy those blank t-shirts, you have the transfers, nobody really likes that design. The only money you wasted are on those transfers. You still have these blank t-shirts that you could put a different design on. So create a new design, press one up, boom, wear it around. Now people like that one. Now you have these blank shirts and you have these transfers that people like. Start doing it from there. And you don't have to break the bank starting out. You don't have to say, I need a dozen small, dozen medium, dozen large. You don't have to do that. You could start with one of each size if you wanted to. Literally one t-shirt of each size. So like, let's say size large sells. Now you take the money that you just made off of selling that one large and you buy two more larges to replenish it with the money you just made. So that's one, to replace what you sold, and then two, to re-up and start building that inventory. This is going to help you start to learn what your popular sizes are and what's not so popular. So instead of wasting money on size small and medium that don't sell, now you just have one or two stocked up in inventory if those people decide to buy with that size. But you don't spend a ton of money on the sizes that don't sell. You only replenish what's selling. So this is the best way if you're starting a clothing brand. This is the best way to get started because you want to control your inventory. When you pre-print stuff, when you have a manufacturer screen print all your t-shirts for you, you're telling them, I need a dozen smalls, a dozen mediums printed, this many larges, this many extra larges, and whatever sizes you're offering. But once those t-shirts land already printed on your doorstep, you're forced to sell them because now you have 48 t-shirts that you have to sell. If they don't sell, you already spent the money making them. You know what I mean? So you already wasted the t-shirt and the print already. You're in the hole already. Don't do that when you're just starting out. Start slower. You know what I mean? Get the blank t-shirts and keep them blank. Don't print nothing on them until somebody buys something. So then that way you could see, all right, this person right here just bought a large. Boom, I'm going to buy two more blank larges and put them up. Somebody else comes and buys another large. You take that money, buy two more blank larges. Now you're building up your inventory at the same exact time, controlling your inventory because you haven't wasted any of those shirts. The only time you're selling the shirts is when somebody buys it. So everybody always wants to like start and then do what their inspiration does or what their mentors are doing. And a lot of times those mentors are the big brands that we like we're fans of. Like somebody might look at Bobby Hundreds and be like, yo, Bobby Hundreds uses this screen print shop, I want to use that same screen print shop. That's cool. But if you're not making Bobby Hundreds type designs and you don't have Bobby Hundreds type of marketing, that design and those t-shirts might not sell the way Bobby would sell his. You know what I mean? Just because you're getting them printed in the same place doesn't mean they're going to get sold the same way. So a lot of times we have to remove ourselves and be like, yo, all right, let me do it this way. Let me make sure that I understand how my customers react to the designs I put out. The only way to do that is to limp your way into this thing. And your customers never have to know that things are getting printed on demand or things are getting printed this way or you only have one of each size available. They don't You don't never ask your favorite brand, yo, how many do you got in stock? You just go on your website, their website. If it's there, it's cool. If it's sold out, you're like, damn, I'm too late. Then that starts to create that buzz for yourself to be like, oh shit, this guy's selling out in size large all the time. When he drops something, I need to get on it. They don't know that the inventory is only one of each size and you just sold one large and now it's sold out on your site. They don't know that. Your website doesn't reflect your actual inventory numbers. It just says it's available or it's sold out. So that way you could just keep doing things the way you want to without breaking the bank. You don't want to operate outside of your budget. That's the worst thing to do. You never want to invest the ass load of money into some shit like that and then not have a way to get yourself out of it. So start small, start slow, and build your inventory slowly by just controlling your inventory, man. I can't stress that enough. It wasn't DTF, it was DTG that smashed it. Also, a small DTG was like 13K and toners were like 25K at the same time. It's a pain if you want to tweak the design if it's from a manufacturer. Hell yeah. Okay, makes sense. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Not a problem. Do you use Shopify? Yes, I do. Altered image designs. I use Shopify. I use it for my online store. I use it for my retail store. I use it when I'm out vending live at events and festivals. Shopify does everything for me. Yeah, see, so if you're saying DTG is what killed the white toner, the easiest way to combat that is DTG's print heads suck. White toner going through any of those print heads suck. Doesn't matter if it's DTF, DTG, DT, anything. You're going to spend way more in print heads than actually, paying for that machine. Yeah, Shopify is easy to use. I'm not the smartest and sharpest when it comes to that kind of stuff. So they made it very dummy friendly to like learn how to use. I've also used Big Cartel in the past. When I had a Big Cartel shop, the thing that I didn't like was the shipping wasn't integrated with Big Cartel. So I had to get like a ShipStation or Pirate Ship account. And then I had to have the Big Cartel account. So then when I got an order on Big Cartel and they processed the credit card transaction, when I wanted to ship it out, I had to like copy and paste the info into ShipStation, print out the label, and then go. Shopify has everything built into that sucker. So then order comes in, bingo, hits your Shopify account. You buy your postage and shipping label straight through Shopify. You weigh it out through Shopify. Everything is done in their dashboard. That's why I like it. And it just made it easy. Like I use the free template. I don't even use like a paid for theme. My shit's the free one, and I just change the colors. Like it'll say like change the color of the text, change the color of the little menu bar, change the color of your header and footer and stuff like that. That's all I did. I used it. I'm not the sharpest when it comes to that stuff. So anything that's like quick, easy, and helpful. There's like a million videos on how to set up your Shopify store. Shopify also makes really good content on how to like step by step get your shit going. It's To me, it was the easiest bet for myself. Are there other ones out there? Yeah, there's a ton of them, but Shopify is probably the biggest, most known, and most trusted one. I think it's $30 a month or something like that. So kind of a easy call. The Big Cartel one that I used to have was at the time, I think it was $10, but that was probably like 15 years ago, maybe. No, probably even longer than that. 2010, 29. Yeah, probably 17 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, something like that. That one was kind of easy to use, Big Cartel, like I said, but back then it was just the shipping thing was a pain in the ass for me. So that's why I ended up using Shopify because it just made my life easier. Not having to deal with like the shipping and all that stuff. It was already done. And then it'll break it down for like UPS, FedEx, the post office, DHL. It'll have all of the price listings on there. Before you buy your postage, you could be like, I think I want to send this UPS. And then you could see what UPS is charging. You can see what the cheapest one would be, what the most expensive one would be. And then it has a little breakdown on like, this will get there in 1 business day. This will get there in 3 business days. Or so when you're buying your postage, it makes it pretty easy. Admit it, you want to shave your kids' heads and put the anarchy symbol on their heads. I think you're talking about temporary tattoos. Yo, man, like my youngest son, he's always been into tattoos. Like my oldest son has tattoos, my daughter has tattoos. My youngest son, who's 12 years old, has always been into tattoos. So I used to sleeve him down with temporary tattoos all the time. And he had my wife took him to go meet a Laker player. I forgot what Laker player it was, but he had a bunch of tattoos also. And like the weekend before, I sleeved him down, everything, boom, neck, shoulders, arms, everything. And then that's how he showed up to go meet this Laker player. And the Laker player looked at him and was like, damn, he fucking sleeved up. He was like, hell yeah. And then it gave my son dope interaction with that player. But my son's always been into tattoos since he was young, obviously because I have tattoos. Um, so I've always put temporary tattoos on him, always. Even when he was like young in school, I would sleeve him down, chest, stomach, everything. They used to sell these like on Amazon. It was uh, like it was made for adults, kind of like for like Halloween and stuff, right? Like say somebody didn't have tattoos and they wanted just like a full sleeve of like just whatever, they would sell it on Amazon for cheap. And these are for like adult arms. So I would get like the shit would be like this big. I cut it in half. And on a kid arm, it fits, just half of it fits on there. So I would have ass loads of temporary tattoos to sleeve my kid up with because he was into it. He wanted to do it. And I feel like a lot of people that collect tattoos, like myself and other people that wear tattoos, it's cool to have like young people be sleeved up too, like, especially if they're into it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying go out and sleeve your kid up and they're fully against it, but if for the people that have tattoos, that's usually a cool thing. Like, oh shit, man, like I'll sleeve them up. So that's the plan. When I get the white toner, that's how it's going down, boy. Doing my homework and doing research on all these different types of shirts, and I'm down to 3 that I like and would like to use for business. Do I have to pick one brand or can I use man, use multiple? You have the option to do whatever you want for your business. I always keep probably 4 or 5 different blanks on hand all the time in my head in case like a customer comes to me and says, yo, I'm looking for like a t-shirt for fitness apparel. Then I'd be like, yo, the AS Color staple shirt, it's fitted, lightweight, super soft, perfect for showing off the physique and stuff like that. That's when you should use. And then somebody's like, yo, like, I want something heavyweight. I want something streetwear. I want something I could be like, yo, Shaka Wear Active is dope. And if you want to go heavier, you could go Max Heavyweight, Pro Club Heavyweight. You could go AS Color Heavy. If somebody was like, yo, I'm looking for I don't know, like the shit that like Fear of God puts out and Yeezy would put out, like the shit that's like looks faded, slightly oversized, and I'd be like, there's the AS Color Heavy Fade shirt is dope. That same style, that same look, same color offerings, stuff like that. So it's always cool to just have what you feel is dope and what you don't mind offering. It all comes down to confidence. What you're confident in selling to your customers and what you stand behind and what you like and stuff like that. That's what it ultimately comes down to, is like, what are you most confident in selling to your customers? What do you stand behind? What do you like? And if you have 3 options, fuck it, roll with those 3 options, man. Like that's all it is as I'm glad you did your research. And I was telling Seals and Foil earlier, it's dope when people are doing their research to find out what works for them and what doesn't. Because when you just go based on something that I say or somebody else says, you're putting all your trust into that person. And if we have different customers or we have different ideas on what quality is, then what I like might not be what you like. You know what I mean? And vice versa. What you like might not be what I like. So doing your own research, getting hands on with the shit, feeling it, washing it, touching it, wearing it, pressing on it, you're just doing your due diligence. And as a business owner, I think that's the main thing that you can do. And what's needed is us knowing firsthand what we're offering our customers and what we feel confident in offering. That's like when it comes to transfers, just because I use Supercolor doesn't mean you guys have to use Supercolor. That's what I feel confident in offering my customers because I know how it holds up. But if you didn't like the, I don't know, fucking the colors that Supercolor uses, or the feel of Supercolor, or the price, or you have a hard time laying it down, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? You have to find what works for yourself and what you know, like to use, and what you feel confident offering your customers, because ultimately your name is on that thing, not my name. Your name is going out to those customers, and you have to be 1000% down with whatever you're offering for your customers to feel it. Because if you're like wishy-washy about the shit and you're like trying to sell some shirts to somebody, like, yeah, you know, I use these t-shirts, they're all right, you know, like I only use these because of the, you know, the price, or, you know, it's convenient for myself. Your customer is going to pick up on that, and your customer is going to be like, yo, if this guy ain't confident in his own shit, like, I'm not going to spend my money on it. You know what I mean? But if you're like, yo, this is the dopest t-shirt I found that washes this well, and this print lasts forever, stretch it. Like, here, stretch this t-shirt, to prove to them like, this is why I'm so confident in the shit. They're going to be like, yo, this motherfucker knows what he's doing, and they'll buy from you. That's how the shit works, man. So offer whatever you feel confident in. You know what I mean? Do you do different shirt? Wait, do you don't? Ah, fuck, that should fuck me up. Kind of like Selling Art Collective, they do some prints on their standard and some prints on their premium. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that do it that way. That offer a premium shirt and then like a generic all around shirt. There used to be stores here on Fairfax that used to do some cool shit. Like they would print the shirts that you bought from that retail location, would say something cool on the shirt, like Fairfax native, or something like that, that shows that you went to the store to buy it, and you can only buy it in that store. You couldn't buy it online. It's like Stussy, right? Stussy sells the shirts that have the cities on them, like Stussy Honolulu. You have to go to the Stussy store on Oahu to buy that t-shirt. If you like, you can't buy it online, you have to go there to buy it. So there's things like that that stores do to incentivize, you know, this is a premium shirt, or you can only buy this shirt here, or if not, it's just going to be this generic shirt and stuff like that. So that's usually how the shit works. Shout out to Oahu, man. I was just there. Hopefully you didn't get beat up by the storm, man. We left the day the storm hit. Not the first storm. We got there when the first storm stopped, and then we're there that whole time that the weather was good. And then the day that the storm hit again is when we left. Oh, I live in Vegas now. Shout out to Vegas too, man. That's a natural progression right there, man. Like Oahu, and then you go to Vegas, and then Vegas has Zippies. Vegas has, like, the only thing Vegas doesn't have is a beach, and you're basically, it's almost the same, and the weather's way different. But I always think of where I want to move to, like, is there good Hawaiian food? Is there good local food? Because that's the things that I would miss. Like, I live in Los Angeles, the city I live in, Gardena. There's a shitload of Hawaiian food restaurants around here, that I could get food. You know what I mean? I guess the one thing that LA doesn't really have a lot of is Meat June. Like, you could get that in Hawaii, but then you can't get it over here. And obviously poke and stuff like that. But dope, man. Shout out to Vegas though. The Ninth Island. Hell yeah. Shout out to Ninth Island too. I don't know if you ever seen his stuff, man, but that dude, he vends at almost every event. Him and Island Armor are at every island music festival, reggae festivals. They're at fucking hula competitions. They're everywhere vending. But Ninth Islander makes his way around, man. He's everywhere. I know he's based out of Vegas though, but um, that dude's cool. Shout out to him. Shout out to Tone from Island Armor too. All right, let me see. If anybody else got any questions, man, I just looked up and we did 2 hours already. So I appreciate everybody for jumping on, everybody for throwing out the laser stuff, like information about lasers so I could look it up. Don't be surprised if you start seeing lasers and white toner and Sawgrass VersaFlex printers on my channel, because these are all things that are like going through my head on how we can make some money here. And I want to kind of show how to make money with this stuff. So if anybody got any questions, shoot them out right now. If not, I'm going to jump out of here. But I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Every single Tuesday, we do this. If I'm in town, if I'm not traveling, if I'm in town on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going live every single time. Either here on YouTube or YouTube and TikTok. Today, no TikTok, but it is what it is, man. Great live. Always learn so much from you. Thank you for the transparency. Thank you for tuning in, because this live doesn't happen without you guys jumping in and asking the questions so I could help out. So if you have a ton of questions, leave them in the comments of any of my videos or jump onto these lives on Tuesdays, man. And if you wanted to rewatch this thing, you can. It'll be posted on YouTube right after this. All right. Appreciate y'all. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.